Good evening and welcome to another edition of Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. I'm Jennings Bernard, your host, and always you can catch me right here each and every day, Monday through Friday, from 5 to 6 p.m. on Facebook Live. Tell a friend to tell a friend that Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil is on the air. Welcome in, welcome in. You know what we do here. We talk business, legal, social, whatever affects you in this community. We are willing, able to talk about it. And thank God for you today that you are tuning in and being a part of this program. You know the number if you wish to dial or not. The number is 901 288 5779. Again, 901 288 5779. You can feel free to give us a call at any time. And I look forward to hearing from you if you choose to call. But if not, hey, we do what we do here every day and let's talk about the things that affect you in this community. Welcome in. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot still going on every day in this community, and we have to talk about these things to keep you up to par on what's going on here. Yesterday, I wasn't able to be with you on yesterday. I tell you, I don't know what this thing is that's just been hanging around trying to just stick with me. Uh, there's something out there. Got to be careful. Make sure you cover up. Yeah, I told you I missed taking my flu shot this year. I usually take it every year, and I really don't have that much problem when I take it, but I didn't take it this year. Well, whenever this is over with, whatever it is, we'll definitely go back and take the flu shot as well as the COVID shot. A lot of you don't believe in taking the shots. You understand? I go back years when there was epidemics, whether it was the measles, the mumps, the chicken pox. They had these shots that you take, that you took, brother, and it helped you with the measles vaccination, uh, the mumps, the chicken pox. And back then, you couldn't go to school unless you had proof that all of the children in that house had been vaccinated. Well, I know they probably still do it, but it was something that with those shots made a difference. You didn't come down with the measles, the chicken pox. You know, the only thing we got back then every now and then was a cold. But pretty much, not only did you have those vaccinations, you had Big Mama, Grandmama, all of them had those old remedies, and that they used to say, hey, before you go to school, 2 weeks before you go to school, it was six of us. And my mother and grandmother used to say, line up the way you came into the world. And it was my oldest sister, then my oldest brother, then me, then my younger brother, Mary, and then Ernest, God rest his soul, and my baby sister. We would line up the way we came into the world. And I remember they gave you a teaspoon of castor oil, and you took that castor oil and you swallowed it. And it called itself cleaning you out. And you wasn't as sick as you are today. Sometimes we need to go back and think about those old remedies that they had, big mama, grandmama, um, whatever you call it. And your mom and daddy, they all knew what to give us at the time to make a difference when it's time for you to go to school. Well, let's jump right into it. I want to talk about something again, and this is this. If you've been keeping up with my posts, you found that I posted something in regard to this, and I want to ask you the question. And you know, you can jump on the Facebook page and you can leave your comments. We look forward to having you and your comments. Feel free to leave any comments that you have. We're going to talk a little bit about what do you expect? What are the things that really affect you when it comes to what is the forensic audit is going to be all about? What is it? Understand this now. They took $8 million of your tax dollars to do this forensic, forensic audit. They deep, deep forensic. You going deep into the present administration. You're probably going back to two administration in the past. You going back and check those things. I say that if you go back to just a few of these administrations, you will find out, in my opinion, that a whole lot of hypocrites exist in these administrations. And I'm going to take a quick break, Rick, and I'm going to come right back to you because it's something I need to take care of. I've been looking for it, and I told you to call me, but you can't call me when we don't have the phone. Let me get it. Take it. I'll be right back. Mayor, Mayor, Mayor. I can hear you when close that door in the bedroom. All right, I'm back. I'm back. I got what I needed. But in the meantime, while I left, I put a joke up on the page so you all can laugh at the joke. Let me remove that joke because she is a joke as it relates to being the police director. Oh, they want to give you all these numbers and say to you that crime was on its way down. I listened to Paul Young this weekend, and I posted that on my Facebook page timeline where he was on Informed Sources with Greg Hurd, uh, the moderator. They just talked the week before to that clown Lee Harris. If he only had a brain, if he had it, he probably still wouldn't get it right. Uh, and then this weekend, they talked to uh, Paul Young. And while they're talking to Paul Young, they asked in view overall in the year what he think he has accomplished. And I sit there and see, you can tell a liar because a lie ain't nothing for them to tell. He know that you know that he lying, but he really don't care because they think you will buy in to the lie. If you tell a lie long enough, you can convince some people who don't know any better that you're telling the truth. So he kept saying that yes, we got the crime down when Greg Hurst asked him uh, about the task force. He said, well, the crime was on its way down before the task force got here. I called him a liar and I put it out on my page. You're lying. This city was in chaos. You couldn't walk to the store without someone running up to you, robbing you. You couldn't go to the corner store before the task force got here and not get carjacked. But he said crime was down. See, you can pad the numbers. You can tell a lie. The crime bureau can lie to you because guess what? Those people are being paid to do their job. Now, if they tell you the truth, that crime is up, the city is in chaos, then you would say, a common sense person was saying, why do we have you as the mayor? Why do we have you as the chief of police? Why do we have you in a over $100,000, almost $200,000 job that keep the statistics of the crime that are being committed in the city? But they want to keep their position. They want to keep the power, so they'll tell you, well, this is the crime bureau and these are their stats. This is the MPD and this is our stat. Do you think for a minute, ladies and gentlemen, they would tell you the truth? And then Paul Young gets on Informed Sources and tell you, well, crime is down. We are working on it. And we was doing it before the task force got here. Now, if you be truthful to with yourself and others, you would know that this city was in trouble. It was talked about being the number one most violent city in America. It still hold that ranking, but you still talking about the crime is going down before the task force came. Now, I will admit to you, with the help of the task force, with MPD, the Highway Patrol, uh, ICE, uh, the U.S. Marshal, all of those are bringing the crime down. And then when Greg Hurst asked him, well, if you're saying the crime and you admit that the crime is down, yeah, it's coming down a little bit, but it was coming down before they got here. He kept wanting to say that it was down, which he was lying. We was in chaos. It was so bad that the federal government had to come in. And you have Memphians who say it all the time. Uh, I'm glad that the task force was here because I could sit on my front porch. My son could go in the backyard and play on his trumpet, and I don't have to worry about it because we have the presence of the task force. People are saying that, but your leaders are telling you lies to keep them in office. That's all it is. They will not admit the truth to you, but I would say tell the truth and shame these devils. It's your opportunity, again, as I say and will continue to say, to make a difference in your elected official. People are running, they have no idea what it entails to run that office or to do that job. It's about a paycheck. You got old politicians who still there not because they want to help, it's because of the paycheck and the power. And see, we got to weed and we have to separate the wheat from the tare. We got to separate it and get that bad politician out of the room. We don't need to have our community looking like it is and they think and say to you, we're doing a good job. Anybody that walks up to you now that's an elected official, you need to ask them, what have you done lately for the community that you represent? Well, I represent Hickory Hill, I represent Fox Meadows, I represent parts of White Haven, I represent a good portion of South Memphis. And then you tell them, have you driven in South Memphis lately? Have you not seen the potholes? And you say you have done something for North and South Memphis. What have you done for them lately? And these are the things that we have to look at. I said to you that if you vote for an individual who is a part of the sheriff's department, who's the second in command, Anthony Buckner, and Floyd Bonham, both of them as a team cannot figure out how to correct the jail situation. Politicians are blaming one, blaming the other, but guess what? People are still dying in that jail. So here you got money folks getting behind an individual who is the assistant chief that can't get it right with the sheriff. What make you think that Anthony Buckner, if he can't get it right as the assistant chief working along with the sheriff, Floyd Bonner, what make you think he can get it right if he becomes the sheriff? Now that says this to me, that if you are the assistant chief, you have the power to speak with the sheriff and y'all come up with a situation to stop these individuals from dying in the jail. So if you can't do it in a 1-2 situation, meaning the sheriff and you as the assistant chief, Bonner, for Buckner, why in the world would you want to put someone in office as the sheriff that couldn't get it right as the chief deputy? So that says to me you're going to take mess and promote mess to be the top law enforcement officer in this county simply because he is the chief deputy but don't have a proven record of leadership. Now, a proven record of leadership would be figuring out why are people dying in the jail to the tune of 16 here in the last month or month or two that have died in that jail. But you're in leadership and you can't fix it. So why would we promote you, Anthony Buckner, to sheriff? There are some good individuals. I know some of them that are running. I'm gonna have them to come on the show and you talk to them and you listen to what they have to say. I'm gonna give you what I think and who I think will make you a better sheriff. I did over 20 years. I know some of them that's now sheriffs and in position. I remember when they were pups, walking around with brown shirts on, like a Cub Scout, trying to be a Boy Scout. But you know, they started at the bottom, but they favoritism their way to the top. Donation their way to the top. You see, you got to understand that when you see people in law enforcement, there are a few who work their way to the top, but there are some who skin and grin their way to the top, made donations. And this is what the sheriff department is all about. And by any political position, it's all about the money, the donation. We got a clown in City Hall, and you elected him based on the fact of the money that was put into his campaign by the people who wanted a hotel, by the people who wanted your taxes raised, and those things have become to fruition under his leadership because that's what they wanted. And they paid good money to put him in there to make sure that he followed. Now, why wouldn't he tell you that as a part of my agenda, I'm going to raise your taxes? A part of my agenda is I'm going to buy the old Sheraton Hotel. Then you would ask the question why, but he didn't do it until he got into the office because he's following direction. He had no agenda. He will lie to you. And you know what this city was like. Whether you want to admit it or not, you knew exactly what the city was like before the task force got here. And you saw a complete turnaround. Over 4,000 arrests. I don't care whether they were misdemeanor or whether they was felony. They were the arrests. They were made. You got over 100 and some children that would return back to the system or back to their home because they was out there in the street. And the task force stopped them and ran ID and found out this is a missing child who had been missing 3 or 4 months. But they had them out there in the streets doing Lord knows what. But then you gonna complain because before the task force got here, how many children was found by the MPD? How many were recovered by the MPD? But the Paul Young will sit there and tell you that crime was down when you know this city was in chaos. I don't care what you all say, my position will always be that I see a difference in what is happening in this city. Now you're gonna have some knuckleheads, some fools that run around here, didn't get their education, so they feel like they have to rob from you to maintain. And sooner or later they're gonna catch there. Sooner or later that trap that they're putting and trying to put in place on you, they're gonna fall into that trap. And some of it may be a deadly trap. Cause there's some people out there ain't playing with you. You run up on them, you're gonna get what you deserve. And if you got the mindset to rob somebody, and that man or that woman do what is necessary because you threatening their life, so be it. You should have got your education. You should have got a job before you became a criminal, and now you're trying to make a life out of being a criminal. Your life will be cut short sooner or later if you're out here committing these crimes. And you need to think about it. When I hear that someone has been shot or killed for carjacking or robbing someone, I have no sympathy for the individual, but I have sympathy for the family. That somewhere that young man, that young woman went astray and didn't do the right thing and end up in the grave one way or the other. So when he said that crime is down now, it's down because of the help of the task force. When he said crime was down before the task force got here, he's lying, and you know it. I'm Jennings Bernard. You're listening to Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. This man, this man right here, will lie to you in a heartbeat and expect you to accept his lie. Already, he's raised $250,000 in one night, according to my sources out in East Memphis. If they want to put that much money for him in 2028 to run again, they got him. They done bought him, and he's gonna buy you for your votes if you don't know no better. And that's my job. My job is to tell you, and at the end of the day, when that time comes and you put him in, it's on you. What the old saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Something to that point. And that's a good point. You know, people may get over on you the first time, that's shame on them. But if they do it the second time, then it's shame on you, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what we got to show this season. Some of it, the old need to go out. I grant you that. Some of the new need to come in, but we need to know what mindset that the new have. Is it about a job? Is it about a paycheck? Is it about power? Is it about position? All of those things. We need to do our homework to make sure that we know what these people are about and not just put them in there because you've seen them on television or he got more signs and she got more signs than the other person. That's not saying that you qualified, ladies and gentlemen, to do the job. What says you're qualified is that you've been on the battlefield. You have gotten what you need to be prepared for the job that you're about to take. See, I see a lot of politicians right now taking pictures, skinning and grinning because they hold a position. But that don't mean nothing because you was elected to a position. Now the truth will be told is how you gonna battle on that battlefield, that the position that you have to sit in a chair like this and sit back and just rock and like you're important and you're not doing anything for your community, that says that you're not qualified. See, holy hell should have been raised, if I use that term, when they tried to put that AI, Transformers 30, in South Memphis, near people who live in, people look like you and I. You know, they'll throw all kind of chemicals in the ground like North Memphis, South Memphis, because that's where the majority of people like you and I live. And you don't matter to big companies, and you don't matter to your elected official who go along with big companies to put that in there and tell you you're gonna be all right. See, no matter what you do, if a heater can give you heat and it coming from a heater, you tell me that there's nothing coming from turbine that will not affect you eventually in the long term run? You're a fool if you believe that. But yet they put those type of things in Memphis because we are weak in leadership. But they didn't do that, excuse me, in Mississippi. They put a data plant. They're going to have 300 new jobs like they promised here. But why didn't that turbine go to South Haven and Memphis get the data? They know where they want to put the thing, and they want to put them where it would hurt and kill black people. But then these so-called leaders will hoop hop and jump out, hooray, that we got this coming in. 300 jobs in the long run, is it worth 30,000 lives over a period of time? 300 jobs, is it worth 3,000 or 30,000 lives? Is it worth the life of the unborn that will be born because of bad decision making by the leadership that we have in they'll be dead and gone. But the decision they made will affect the future. But down in Mississippi, they ain't got to worry about it. They just got a pencil pushing plant. But down here, we got 30 turbines that's polluting the air. I don't care what you say. You're going to pay the price with your grandkids, kids in the long run of that turbine, those turbines being set up in South Memphis. Just like the chemicals that was buried in the ground in North Memphis, and women was having miscarriages and cancer until they figured out, and they had to clean up, dig up all of that chemicals that they buried in the ground, and it was polluting the water and polluting North Memphis. And you tell me that it's not going to be a difference in the long run? I say you got to be outside your mind if you believe that. It's time for us to start thinking way above the individuals that you put into office because they're playing with you. It's about them and not about you. I'm Jennings Bernard. You're listening to Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. As always, I ask that you subscribe to this program. Tell your friends to subscribe to it. Go to YouTube. Our YouTube channel is MemphisRealTalk.com. MemphisRealTalk.com. That's the YouTube channel. We also have an X as well as MemphisRealTalk.com. And on Spotify, you can go there. If you want to just catch these programs, just remember MemphisRealTalk.com, and right here on Facebook, you can subscribe as well. Let's talk about this. And this is really what I want to talk about. And then when I think about the other things that are happening, then we talk about them as well. But one thing I really want you to start thinking about, and I'm eager. You know how when you say, they used to say when you, Big Mama, Grandmama fix a dinner that you like, you rub your hands and you ready to eat up whatever she fixed because you know it's going to be good. Well, hopefully, the forensic audit is something you ought to be anticipating because the word forensic, meaning in depth, they going to go back to whatever to prove that the school board is abusing the power that they have by way of contracts, by way of favoritism. If you go back there, and I said on my Facebook page, if you really go back 2 or 3 administrations in the school board, you're going to find favoritism. You're going to find out people being promoted that weren't qualified to be promoted. If you do that forensic, if you do it in depth, you'll find out there are people who have committed fraud and crime that needs to go to jail. I don't care if you're black, white, pink, or orange, or whatever color. If you broke the law, if you stole your way into a good, decent living and lifestyle, then you stole from the people, the taxpayers, and you need to suffer the consequences. For so long you have been doing this, and I wish those people with the initial, the FBI, do another audit. You did a forensic, that's going to be a state. But we need to get the FBI to do a forensic audit on the school board, forensic audit on some of the decisions that's being made from the leadership, from the city council to the mayor's office. It needs to be in depth, and you'll find out that a whole lot of people, if it's really done and done well, will be going to jail because you get comfortable with your stealing. You get comfortable with your wrongdoing, and the people suffer because of the big deal. While eating big meal with big wheel, you running amok over the people and not defending the people. It's all about you, the elected official. The forensic audit will tell us. And these are the things that you need to look out for. I want to find out who stole, when they stole, and how they stole, whether it was about giving contracts. I want to know that. That should be in that forensic audit. If it's not there, we just lost and gave away $8 million for a forensic audit, and they didn't come up with anything. I think in detail, you tell me in that forensic audit why you think, and I know why I think the state should take over. But I want it in detail, put it in black and white to say that maladministration, say that the individual prior to Dr. Fagan under Jarvis Ray, they took money, stole money, or whatever. That's what we as taxpayers and the public want to know. Don't come giving me no padded up version. Tell the truth because the people want to know and ought to know. $8 million of their taxpayers' money, Representative White. Hey, I'm all for you stepping up to the plate and saying that there's a problem with the uh, Memphis and Shelby County school system. Yes, I would agree with that. Now you got it on it. What are you going to do? What you going to do, Nashville? Are you going to vote on it? And tell us why in this forensic audit. In other words, if you're a lawyer and you're in the courtroom, you have to put your evidence forward to either prove that the defendant is guilty, that's the prosecution. Or the defense will have to prove that they're not guilty. Now, when you do your forensic audit, if you want to take over the school system, which I said need to be taken over because the jokers you have in place, and you got the superintendent right now, tell you right now he's no good because the first thing he did, he took care of his wife and that school she had with 14 kids in it and gave her another contract. That says to me right then, you taking care of your wife and not looking out for the people that you want to be over as superintendent. So to me, I hope the new board never renew a contract with you if you already got a contract. I hope they boot you out as quick as they booted out Dr. Fagan. And I think Dr. Fagan will be our next Shelby County mayor. A lot of people are sick and tired of being sick and tired of this foolishness. And I encourage you, get that person in your house that's able to vote, get them up, get them registered, tell them they need to go out there and vote. And we need Dr. Fagan as the new Shelby County mayor. We really need her. See, when you always remember this, when you close one door, God can open up another door. See, sometimes you have to come and go through, as we used to say, through the fire to come out none burned, not scorched. You remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was in the midst of the fiery furnace. But when the king came back and looked in the next day, they was all right. He said, I see Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, but the fourth one looked like the Son of God. In this case, we need true leadership that will stand up for the people. And God has a way of sending people. Sometimes they have to go through the fire to get there, but He'll get them there. If the people really, which are called by my name, would humble themselves and turn from their wicked ways, then He'll hear from them and He will heal the land. It's time for a healing in this land when it comes to politics in our city. If you shake up this politics as we know it, come May, they still researching for a Republican to run. And they may not have a Republican to run. If they don't have a Republican to run, the election for Shelby County mayor would be done and won come in what we call the Democratic primary. And that's why you need to take election serious in May as though it is the general election. And whoever the Democrats are, whoever win by one vote more than the others, he would be or she would be the new county mayor. So don't sleep on it. Don't sit back and say, oh, I'll wait to August. It may be over in May. And there would be no race for the county mayor in August. So something to think about. But these things that we got to start paying attention to while we can before it's too late. The forensic audit, so many things that I want to look forward to. These are the things. What Father Malone group, who you have a communication department who's supposed to be communicating to the outside relation. tell the in-house public relation company what they should do. And then after they get paid, they get someone from New York City to come into Memphis to get paid. That need to be in the forensic audit. And why did you do that? You had your own department. If they couldn't do the job, you didn't need the department. You're supposed to have well qualified people in the office of communication for the school board to be able to do what you went out and got the Carterman Loan Group to do. And then when they went out and got someone from New York to come in and do the same thing and make 25,000, why? Carter Malone made what 70,000 or more, and then you paying the people in the department for what? See, these are the kind of deals that are going on behind the scene, and you don't know it. And those individuals who sit up there in those positions and just vote and don't know what they're voting on, that's a problem, ladies and gentlemen. That's a problem that we need to deal with these people we got in office. So what did you say? What did you say? What do you think? And you can put it on my Facebook page in the comment section. You can do that later on, or you can do it now, and just say, well, I think that if they're gonna do a forensic audit and all of this stuff that was going on with Jarvis Ray, former superintendent, he got paid for this, he got paid for that, he gonna get a big retirement and all of that. They even wanted to pay him to help Dr. Fagan when she came in and she said, no, I don't need your help. They were willing to pay him. Why? Because of the deal that he did and the promotion that he made and things that happened with the school board. Then go back and get Jarvis Ray, and I guarantee you that you will find that there are some things that he did that was not ethical, borderline criminal, in my opinion. And these are the things you got to start looking out for as this forensic audit goes. If they bring it out this year, they may say, well, hey, we need to work on it a little bit more. Well, you had the opportunity while school's out. You've been working on this, supposedly, and it's time now to take the cover off. Tell us what's going on. Sometime somebody said it may take to 18 months. But if it take 18 months, come out with the truth. And then if you get to the point that you just got the money, but you can need help, call the FBI. I'll guarantee you they will get it right. Because I'm sick and tired. I don't care who it is or what they can do or how they can do it to get these crooks out of the system and get somebody in office that really wants to help the black community. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you tuning in as you do always. And if I'm not here, believe me, it's a reason because I'm eager to talk to you each and every day right here on Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. And I have to get the lighting right here. One day it's perfect, and then when I come back, it looks like the lighting has been moved or something. But right now, it's a little dark to me. But I'm gonna work on get the lighting, and I got all these studio lights in here, but they got to be set in the right position, and we're gonna get that. So if I'm a little dark, I know I'm a dark fella, but I'm not that dark as to what I see on this thing here. But again, I appreciate you. Think about what I said. What do you think the forensic audit should entail? What should they be looking for? And we'll discuss that as well. I told you what some of the things that I believe that they need to be looking for. Need to go back and see what brought what was brought up and how they voted. You can tell how people vote, whether it's good or bad, if you pay attention. And if you pay attention to what they're voting on and who are the sponsors of that vote and the people that will be getting the contract, who are they? Where are they from? Do they know anything about this community? Or are they just here to get a paycheck? We throwing away so much money. Let me end this thing with this. And hear me good when I say this. City and county, excuse me, and state leaders are giving contracts to community leaders, to nonprofits, for one purpose and one purpose only. It's supposed to be to help the nonprofits do what they do. Give a turkey for a day or a ham or cheese sandwich. Excuse me. Or what that. But I always believe that it should be not to feed a person for a day, but do something to make them feed themselves for a lifetime. That's just my opinion. But if you do that forensic audit right, a whole lot of stuff. You remember tick tick tock tock dot dot brought a lot of attention. Some of you remember what I'm talking about. We need that on the school board, the city council, county commission. We need across the board. I told you the other day, my grandmother used to talk about when it was time for spring cleaning, she would make everybody get in there and wipe everything down, make sure that the house was clean, got everything clean inside the house. Well, our political house needs a spring clean. And ladies and gentlemen, I got the broom, but I need some help cleaning this political house. In the words my grandmother, she used to always say, if it's the Lord's will and the creek don't rise, we'll see you on tomorrow. But remember always what I said, and I've learned this the hard way. Trust everyone, but do not trust the devil inside of them. God bless. Take care. Until tomorrow. Peace.